You guys know it's been a sad week in the entertainment world. Here to help us try to understand more is Dr. Drew on the phone. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Great. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know it was last minute, so I appreciate you taking the time.
No problem.
Kate Spade, now Anthony. Why do you think this is happening, Dr. Drew?
Well, I think most people are aware that we've been going through a little bit of an epidemic of suicidality, particularly around middle-aged Caucasian males. Some of that was the economy, some of that was our opiate crisis. But now that seems to have bled down, particularly into women, where we're seeing women, younger women, now commit suicide by more violent means. We don't think about hanging or guns as typically something that women do, but now we're seeing that, and Kate Spade, unfortunately, is an example of that. But I don't want you to confuse. I mean, the clinical sort of syndrome of Anthony Bourdain versus Kate Spade are extremely different. You got to remember, Anthony had a history of opiate addiction. I spoke to him about it years ago. We see him on TV drinking, and he has been at risk. Any opiate addict, any addict of any stripe that is continuing to use is really at risk for all sorts of things. Mood disturbances are one of them. We really don't know the details yet on Anthony Bourdain. Again, the whole situation is very suspect. I think more to be revealed, but it is, again, a good reminder that depression is a killer. It kills people, and this is how it does that. And if you have depression, you must take it very, very seriously, particularly if you're having any thoughts of self-harm, because that is a medical emergency. Sometimes during a depressive episode, people will be overcome by these thoughts, and that's when they can do something impulsive. They don't see any way out. They're in such horrible pain. They can't imagine living with it. They have to get it to end. Just imagine a physical pain that is so profound that you just can't live with it. That's what people with depression are living with.
Yeah. Dr. Drew, when you look at celebrity and you look at celebrity life, do you find that for them it's a tougher way out or to get help because of the spotlight they're under?
Yes and no. I want to almost give it a categorical no, though. That's one of the reasons I did Celebrity Rehab. I wanted people to understand that celebrities are no different than the rest of us. Mm-hmm. That's sort of what motivated us to do that. They have illnesses just like the rest of us. Sometimes it can be harder for them if they're a big celebrity to go to these public forums like a mutual aid society, so they do have that problem. But the reality is the only reason they have more serious problems from substances is two things. People who strive to be celebrities tend to come from trauma, tend to have, I have the only published data,
oh, wow.
tend to have more narcissistic qualities about them because of that trauma, and they don't have the usual consequences from their using, if they're using substances, because they don't have an employer or a family that can pull them aside and say, hey, let's fix this. They are independent contractors. They have sycophants around them that protect them and aren't willing to confront them, and so they spiral to a greater degree, but they are no different than the rest of us.
Dr. Drew, you said that you had met and spoken to Anthony before. Is there something, do you have a memory or something that's coming to mind this morning?
I do. He and I were doing upfronts. We both had a program on Discovery Network back then, and he was talking to me about his opiate problem, and he was talking about it sort of glibly, and he did not seem to be in a recovery program, and it worried me. I didn't know him very well, and I didn't sort of push too hard, but I sort of asked the kind of questions that I hope would make him think about it. And then as I watched his show, I would see him drinking, and it always scared me. I always thought, oh man, something's going to happen here. And I'm afraid that's what we're looking at right now.
Thank you.